Get it. Come on.
Excuse me, sir. Yes, quick question for you. Why are you so cute?
Was the 180-pound black shadow left at the door a curse or a miracle? Everyone was ready to swear Hades was a monster until a terrifying scream revealed the truth about this ancient guardian. On a rainy Tuesday at 3:14 a.m., the Miller family's front door was pounded with such violence that it felt like the wood was about to splinter into 1,000 pieces. Thomas rushed downstairs, his heart racing, only to find his old friend Albert drenched and gasping for air on the porch. Albert, a veteran shelter worker, thrust a thick leather leash into Thomas's hands. His eyes were bloodshot, and his voice was a desperate whisper as he said, "Please, don't ask why. Just take him inside tonight, or they will kill him the moment the sun rises." Before Thomas could even process the weight of the request in his sleep-deprived haze, a massive shadow, darker than the night itself, slipped into the hallway. His name was Hades. Thomas closed the door and went back to bed, barely realizing he had just invited a 180-pound Cane Corso into his home. The next morning, a blood-curdling scream from the kitchen shattered the silence, echoing through every room. Thomas found Alina staring in paralyzed horror at Hades, who stood like a magnificent, unmoving obsidian statue in the center of the room, his eyes tracking her every breath. As neighbors gathered outside, drawn by the noise, Elena lied to cover the tension, claiming it was a surprise gift for their anniversary. But their elderly neighbor, Mrs. Gable, watched from her porch with pure venom in her eyes. "He is a cursed beast, a monster from a nightmare. If you are terrified of him in your own home, how are we supposed to feel safe in this neighborhood?" she shrieked, her voice trembling with a mix of age and genuine fear. Thomas tried calling Albert for answers, but Albert was evasive and cold, begging for just a few more days of silence. Days passed with Hades living like a silent, brooding ghost, his presence a heavy weight on the household, until one night, desperate cries for help echoed through the yard. They found Hades standing over a fallen Mrs. Gable near the fence, his deep barks shaking the very foundation of the house. "I see you haven't subscribed yet, and honestly, that breaks my heart. Subscribing means the world to me and helps us save more dogs like this. Hit that button right now, because what happens next will change everything you thought you knew about loyalty." As the authorities hauled Hades away in a heavy iron cage, the neighborhood was thick with a suffocating sense of animosity and "I told you so" glances. Thomas and Elena were completely devastated, their minds racing with the terrifying possibility that the silent giant they had sheltered was truly the killer everyone claimed him to be. The sight of Hades behind bars, his eyes still calm and unblinking even as the uppers injected him with sedatives, was a scene that would haunt Thomas for years. He reached out to Albert one last time, desperate for some kind of defense or a history of the dog's temperament. But Albert's response was a knife to the heart. "I don't know him, man. I don't know his past or what he's capable of. Don't call me again," he said before the line went dead. For 3 agonizing days, a suffocating silence hung over the entire town as everyone waited for the news from the local hospital. The fate of Hades rested entirely on whether Mrs. Gable would wake up and sign what was essentially his death warrant. When she finally opened her eyes, the police arrived immediately to take her statement, while Thomas and Elena stood outside the hospital room, their hands trembling. Mrs. Gable spoke with a weak, gravelly voice, recounting the absolute darkness of that night. "I went out to take the trash to the curb, and a stray dog, a vicious, mangy animal with foam at its mouth, leaped out of the shadows and pinned me to the gravel. It was going for my throat, and I knew I was dead." Then she pointed a frail finger toward the door and dropped the bombshell that left the officers speechless. "That dog you took away, Hades, that animal they call a monster, he didn't attack me. He came flying over the fence like a black bolt of lightning from heaven. He tore that stray off me and stood guard with his own body, barking for help until the sirens arrived. He didn't just save my life, he stood over me like a soldier until I was safe. The room fell into a stunned, heavy silence as the realization hit the community like a tidal wave of shame. The beast hadn't been standing over a victim, he had been protecting a defenseless woman from a predator. Yet he was the one sitting in a cold, concrete cell, facing an execution for a crime of pure heroism. Weeks later, the Miller household had transformed from a place of fear into a sanctuary of profound respect and peace. Hades was no longer a temporary guest or a problem to be solved. He was officially and legally the heart of the family. But the most incredible change in the entire town happened right across the street. Mrs. Gable, once his loudest and most hateful critic, now visited the Miller home every single afternoon without fail. She would walk across the pavement with a silver tray of homemade treats and specially baked pumpkin cookies, feeding them to Hades with her own bare hands. The imposing Cane Corso, who once looked like a terrifying war machine to the world, would now wag his massive tail with such force it sounded like a drum against the walls, gently taking the treats from her palm with the grace of a butterfly. The bond between the elderly woman and the giant dog became a local legend. She even started borrowing him for the night, finding that her lifelong insomnia had vanished because she knew the black guardian was lying by her bed, watching the door. The neighborhood that once cowered in fear now watched in quiet admiration as the tiny woman and the 180-pound hero patrolled the sidewalks together every evening. Hades' courage hadn't just saved a life from a physical attack, it had dismantled a lifetime of prejudice and turned a neighborhood's hatred into a community's pride. He proved to everyone that true loyalty isn't about looking soft or fitting a mold. It's about standing in the gap when the world goes dark and protecting those who cannot protect themselves. His scars were no longer signs of a fighter, but medals of a protector. If this story moved your soul and changed how you look at these powerful breeds, please hit that like button right now and drop a comment below. Would you have the courage to trust a dog like Hades if he showed up at your door in the middle of the night? Your support helps us share these stories of misunderstood heroes with the world. Don't forget to subscribe to join our pack and hit the notification bell so you never miss a miracle. I will see you in the next one, where we witness another incredible journey of a dog who refused to give up.